It's the 10th most trafficked website. If you want to know what people think and feel online, you just need to go to Reddit. Oh, and by the way, he actually designed the logo, so he's pretty cool. Alexis Ohanian, take it away.
Wow, all right, now the bar is set really high. You'll all inevitably be disappointed. But hey, hi everyone, I'm Alexis. I really regret not including photos of the Reddit alien tattooed on people, of which there are more than a few. I've had the privilege of seeing a few of those up close, and it's wild because it was something I doodled when I was bored in marketing class a little over 10 years ago. All the companies that I've helped start have had cute mascots that I've drawn. It's not required, I just like doing it. If any of you are thinking about a rebrand, please consider a mascot. Obviously the Reddit alien is probably the best known one, and I recently rejoined the company about 8 months ago. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary yesterday. So many upvotes. Thank you. How many, just by quick show of hands, how many of you all use Reddit? Yes, upvote, 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 upvote. You all have also identified yourselves now as the least productive people in the room. That's fine. That's fine. I appreciate it. Thank you. It's the reason we are where we are. If Reddit were a country, it would be the 8th largest in the world. And every month, 172 million people visit it to essentially determine the front page of the internet, as we call it, but really set the global agenda with their upvotes and their downvotes and their discussions. They're capable of really just creating or surfacing the content that everyone else is talking about for the rest of the day and frankly for the rest of the week. But how did it get to this point? It started with one community. It's now a platform of 10,000 active. There are about 500,000 total, but 10,000 we really declare as active because there's so much original, fresh content there. Whether you're into the NFL, whether you're into My Little Pony, whether you're into slow cooking, there is a community there on Reddit for whatever your interest, whatever your geography, whatever your passion. But it started because this kid, that's me, in 9th grade, got an internet connection. Thank you for laughing at 9th grade me. Here's the thing though, here's the thing. The internet made me feel so powerful. And trust me, there's some hipster in the mission right now who is making this haircut cool again. It is happening. It's ahead of my time, it's all cyclical. But the internet changed my life because as soon as I got the dial-up connection, I had an entry point to the world, and I had a skill, building websites, basic HTML. And I would go on message boards, and I would essentially offer to nonprofits the services of creating a free website for them. It wasn't for money, like I said, it was really for pride. Because the schoolwork I was doing seemed really boring. I was this dork in school, obviously played too many video games. But when I went online, no one knew that. They didn't know that I was this kid in my parents' house. They just knew me as someone who had a skill that they needed, that they considered very valuable. And that was so empowering. It was like this drug. And what makes me so excited for the generation coming up now is that if they're lucky enough, and most of them are, to have online access from pretty much the very beginning, digital natives, they feel this instinctively. They think of themselves not just as consumers, but also as creators. That's the generation coming up. It's not just slinging code, it's shooting video, it's starting online storefronts, it's doing all kinds of things. But for me, it put me in a position to start thinking about how I could change my world. And in college, the thing that me and my good friend Steve Huffman, my Reddit co-founder, wanted to solve was lines. We wanted to get rid of lines. We wanted to let people order food or order anything from their phone without having to wait in line. I remember it was 2004, so this was the smartest phone in the market, Palm Trio. Remember that stylus too? Yeah, there were Blackberries too, I guess. A little too soon, but like there was not really a market for smartphones per se. But we were so convinced we were going to call this company My Mobile Menu, or Very proud of that. And we were going to change the world with it. And by the time we were ready to graduate, I had convinced Steve to work on this thing with me, and we heard this dude named Paul Graham give a talk. It was during our senior year spring break. So every other kid in Virginia, went to the University of Virginia, every other kid in Virginia was going to Cancun, we were going to Boston, because we were going to spend our spring break listening to this guy talk about how to start a startup. And this was, of course, the co-founder of Y Combinator. This would go on to become one of the most successful seed stage venture firms really in history. Not only have they invested in Reddit, they've invested in Airbnb, Dropbox, Stripe, multi-billion-dollar companies that all started the same way. Back in 2005, this seemed like a crazy idea that a company like Y Combinator could give $6,000 per founder to basically work for a summer, create enough of a prototype, get enough traction to then go out and raise some money from angel investors, to then hopefully one day create a billion-dollar company. That seems crazy, right? They gave us $12,000 to build Reddit because you see they rejected the My Mobile Menu idea because admittedly it was a little too early for mobile. We're still waiting for that. And there's a bunch of companies solving it right now. We're gonna get there. But they rejected us. But fortunately, Jessica Livingston, one of the other partners of Y Combinator, said, no. We still hate your idea, but we like you too. So you can come back as long as you work on something else. And that something else ended up being Reddit. And this is me and Steve on the first day of it. Just first day of Y Combinator, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. You'll notice I already had a shirt with our mascot on it. We did not have a product yet. I already had a shirt. Not the right order of operations. I always tell founders this. This was not a good decision, but it's obviously very, very keen on that logo. But we got started creating something, 12 grand, based on this thesis that these two random kids out of the University of Virginia with no business whatsoever starting something that maybe one day would be the front page of the internet could create something with basic resources that looked like this when we launched. I know, it's janky. We're still working on a lot of design improvements on Reddit. It's coming, especially mobile first. This was the first version of Reddit we got online within about a month. Now, if we could get in a time machine 10 years ago, I don't know how many of you would have bet that those two kids with $12,000 in a tiny rented apartment in Medford, Massachusetts would create this thing, and that 10 years later it would be more influential and have a larger audience than the New York Times or CNN. But it does. And it's crazy, even to me now, to think about that. But this is not really a testament to me or Steve, it's a testament to the world we live in now. You don't need to open a factory to change the world, you just need to open a laptop. There has never been a point in human history where that has been as true as right now. And it's a tremendous privilege for those of us who have the access and the skills to make the most out of it. And so we were the lucky recipients. Reddit has obviously grown up to become a pretty influential platform. And we only spent, this is our entire advertising budget. In 10 years, we have spent $500 advertising Reddit. And it was stickers. And I spent all that in the first couple of years. Lots of stickers. Probably broke a few vandalism laws, putting them all over Boston. But that was the extent of it. Again, this is not a testament to us per se, it's a testament to the platform. It's a testament. Social media wasn't a phrase in 2005, but obviously, word of mouth has always been king. I remember learning about that in my marketing classes back in college. Good news, the water cooler, which always determined the fate of brands, is now huge, right? It's the World Wide Web. And the epicenter of it, frankly, the most authentic discussions, frankly, are happening on Reddit. Now, we've had the President of the United States come on and do an Ask Me Anything interview. Reddit's sort of become famous for this. You know which Reddit employee came up with the idea of an Ask Me Anything interview? None. It was a random user. We gave some basic tools and users came up with brilliant things that have now come to define what makes Reddit Reddit. It's the nature of the internet. The best ideas aren't necessarily going to come from the people who are getting the paycheck. They're going to come from users. Remember, not just consumers, also creators. Edward Snowden's come on and actually done 2 AMAs now in the last couple of months. This is the place where he chose to come because he had 1 million viewers within a couple of hours. There are not many interview platforms left on the planet where you can reach an audience of literally millions of people within a few hours. And it's a totally crowdsourced interview. That's the wild thing. And what's so cool about it is the AMAs are not just exclusive to celebrities. Some of our most successful, some of our most popular have involved just random people. This vacuum repairman, some of you will remember the Breaking Bad reference. He did his AMA right after that episode because he is literally a vacuum repair guy. It was this thing where like you can go and get your identity wiped. Anyway, he spent about 36 hours answering people's questions about vacuums. You can't make this up. And the nice thing about this, and I think the lesson that it shows, is that you know what? Even if you're the President of the United States, even if you're Edward Snowden, even if you're Channing Tatum did an amazing AMA last week, by the way. You know what? If you're a vacuum repair guy, if you have a great story to tell, if you have important things to say, there's no reason why it shouldn't be just as important. And there's something really kind of egalitarian about that. And that's the sort of, again, the very nature of the internet, this idea we can try to create a more level playing field for ideas. And so we've gone, and in the last 8 months, we've started creating more original content because everyone kept telling us we love the fact that Reddit sets the agenda, but why can't you help us get more ways into it? So we created a hand-curated weekly newsletter with like a 40% open rate. All credit to the newsletter team. I'm told it's a very good open rate. We launched our own podcast. It's like a This American Life for Reddit. It's called Uploading. Because there were stories we wanted to tell and communicate to a much bigger medium. Video. Oh goodness, apparently video is a big deal. We brought on some of the best. We brought on some of the best talents from original video to come in and create original productions because we have stories worth sharing and we want them to reach as broad an audience as possible.